Right, so we've had a good walk around Oldham's now, and originally picked sort of peg one. Saw fish up there, right in the far corner. It's very shallow up there. I've checked all the depth maps and stuff, but I just didn't feel comfortable up there for the duration of how this wind's going to change. I've watched the wind, and the wind's going to be a nice southwesterly tomorrow, and it's going to push over and it's going to be quite warm. So we've pushed up a little bit, and we've found a quite decent head of fish on the back of it. So I reckon, I'm hoping that them fish in that far corner are also going to push over. So I think edging my bets today and getting off the side of the wind and then jumping onto a good wind tomorrow is going to get us a fair few fish. So I'm going to crack on, get the rods out and get some bait out there. So I've got in the swim now, and yeah, where the fish were, where we saw them earlier, it is actually quite shallow over there. And I put a marker out. You know, you got on that sort of four foot bit, but as soon as I pulled back, you're straight into weed, and you can see the weed when you're around there. So I watched the fish a little bit, and the fish tend to be cruising over the weed and then dropping over the back of it. So I've decided to pull through, and I found just where the back of the weed is, and drops down to about sort of 8-9 foot. So not as shallow as I would like it to be, with the pressure coming up as high as it's going to be, but you know, I'm comfortable. So I'd actually thought about using a rod down in this margin down here, but I just think we're going to get pestered with the swans and ducks and stuff that are over there. So my plan is I'm going to drop back for tonight and fish the back of the weed bed. I'm right clipped up to the back of the weed, and it just sort of balls down to that 8-9 foot. A nice little silty spot that's going to be, it's sort of, well, it's not silt, I'd say it's a little bit softer, it's not bang on the gravel. I'm going to be fishing 2 rods on, and then the other one goes down with a hell of a crack. So we'll get these rigs banged out and get some bait out over the top. Right, so the evening's just started to draw in, and kind of settled in the swim a little bit, but had a little bit of flutter earlier on and was nearly contemplating a move. We started to see some fish showing up the other end of the lake, and had a little mooch around there, but a lot of smaller fish. You know, I'm still confident that the larger fish have still been sat down here. I think the bit of pressure that I put on them, casting around, just moved them off. And it's not helped that the lads opposite have sort of left the swims now, so I think they've pushed off into that corner. But we have seen signs of fish up in this area still, and I'm hoping that the bigger girls have sat back up here. So yeah, we've redone the rods, refreshed everything, got everything sorted, ready for tonight. Sat comfortable now, getting a bit nippy as you can see. The wind's calmed down, and we're just hoping that this wind does start to spin round tomorrow. If it's not, we've sort of had a little bit of a plan to maybe get up and hopefully jump on these pods of smaller fish up front, or maybe even move to a different lake. Billy's apparently comes free tomorrow at 11, so it's going to give us an opportunity to hopefully move around in the morning. But I'm pretty confident of a bite tonight off this spot, and I'm hoping it's going to be one of the bigger residents of this lake. So yeah, we'll crack on through the night, and if we don't see you through the night with a fish, we'll see you in the morning, hopefully not having to move. See you soon. So we've had nothing through the night, and yeah, I've been up sort of every hour or two, just listening, trying to see something show, but there's just nothing, no liners, no nothing. Got up at 4:30 this morning, and they're still showing in that little bay up there. So we've decided to have a move up there. So the move's paid off, probably been in the swim about an hour now. The fish have moved off us a little bit, just at back of us, but yeah, as soon as we saw that bag slicking, we knew something was going to happen. So I'm not sure, I believe this is on a white, and good old crayfish mini mix and my liquid there that I put in my bags, and we're away. Not full summer yet, so the weed growth isn't as bad. Definitely a little bit bigger than the fish we've been seeing down here. Gonna do a good mid-double, I think. And she's in the net. Get in there. Yeah, finally got one. Quick move this morning paid off, £19.8. So a cracking start to today, and yeah, hopefully a few more to come. Definitely bigger than what we'd seen up here. So the theory that the bigger fish had held off the back, I think that's sort of been put down a little bit. Yeah, hopefully they're going to start pushing back round here and have a few more on these bags. Absolute cracker. There you go. Let's have another. Yes! So we've just moved over to Billy's Lake, third swim, second lake, not even 24 hours in yet, and just got the rods out, and it's literally, I think it's took about half an hour, and one of them's rattled off. PVA bag again. Sure, this is on a milky malt. Doesn't seem like a bad fish, so the move seems to have paid off again. You know, we got settled on Oldens this morning, and after that first fish they just moved straight off the back of us, so we made a quick decision to get up, put the effort in to get round here. There was a match on the lake at the time, so we just had to hold fire for an hour. And yeah, the fish are down here, they follow this wind up. Nice new fresh wind from down this side. There's either a little bit of weed or something down there, but found it. She's moving. She's moving. It's been throwing a couple of decent fish up as well as these couple of swims, so it doesn't feel bad. So as tiring as it is to move around, sometimes you just have to, if you just sat there on these types of waters where they're very highly pressured, they move quite a lot. When we were sat on Oldens, even though we'd had that fish, there was a lot of spare water there that wasn't taken up, and they'd just moved to the back of it. You can spend all day chasing around the same pond, so we took the opportunity to get onto a different lake where we could get right on the front of this wind. Come on, girl. Get in there. So there you have it, another lovely double. This one out of Billy's, shows you what's out there to come down and get cracked on with a bit of bait and a bit of fun. And the swim's been a right state, you know, there's stuff chucked all over. We didn't expect to bite this quick, and yeah, basically got some bait out, spawned about 10 or 15 spawns out, got the rods out, clipped some bags on, and away it's gone. So I'm hoping that this is going to be the sign of things to come for the next 24 hours, and we're getting to plenty more of these and maybe a few bigger ones. So we're in again. This rod's literally just been out, I wouldn't say more than 20 minutes, and it has absolutely melted off. And this is one hell of an angry fish. And I believe it's got me on a snag. Because we're lock solid. Right, something's just give. Still in contact with the fish. Definitely just come over either a hump or something going on. He's making another pump for it. Don't want to be losing her, so I'm off in socks, pants and a lot. And she's in there. What a beauty. That is an absolute cracker. Big scaly lump. Get in there. Look at that, an absolute pearler. £27.8 and came literally 20 minutes after casting out, and it absolutely rattled off. Cracking fight, and we're just going to get sat down and talk a little bit about the bait we're using, and it just didn't give us a chance. The bait's been that effective now, they're definitely on it, and yeah, this is the result. Absolutely awesome. So we'll get these rods back out, a few more spoms with the bug over the top, and go catch another one. Finally got a chance to talk about the bait and bits of tactics that I've been using. So when we was on Oldens on the first night and we was on fish there, I decided to put a bit of bait out, and the fish obviously pushed off. So when we moved pegs the next morning, we didn't really want to like force that again, so we jumped straight in with PVA bags. So we didn't go out with no spom, no bait or anything like that, and we went straight out with PVA bags. And my normal PVA bags are just like anybody else's, really, just crayfish mini mix, but I like to make them different. You know, everybody's using these tiny pellets in bags now to get them as compact as possible, and it don't really give you a different edge. So what I tend to do with mine is I use liquids a lot to be able to put that additional attraction in there, but make them different to what other people are fishing with as well. So I have a bottle with a nice spout on it that allows me to inject the bags very quickly. And that bottle is my own version of a mixture of off-the-shelf DNA liquids. And because I'm fishing bug, it's primary 50% bug liquid, so the liquid food that goes in the bug boilie, that's the primary element that goes in there. And then another favourite of mine is hot hemp oil. I absolutely love having hemp oil in my bags. It gives you that added edge of being able to have a little bit of a slick, and it pumps up and down the water column. The other one that I absolutely love in bags is beta stim. So I combine the beta stim, the liquid food and my hot hemp oil all the time to make this. If I'm using S7, I'll take the bug liquid food out and put the S7. You can make loads of different variations of this, you know, and it really gives you an edge if you're fishing against a lot of bag work and stuff and things like that, and you're wanting to give yourself an edge in your bags. Liquids are an absolute key. Don't go anything with like hydro heat that's too sticky. You want your bag to disperse, you want those liquids to act differently, and that's the great thing about sort of beta stim. It's highly soluble, you can't overdo it, and the hemp oil gives you that little bit of added attraction to pump up and down. So my first fish came on a bag, and when I got round here I still had some pre-tied bags. The wind wasn't as strong, so out went the bags again, and very quickly I had a bite on that exact same tactic. You know, you see the spot slicking, and literally a few minutes later you're into a fish. But the wind's picked up a little bit now, so it's caused us a bit of an issue getting these bags out. You know, even when you're only fishing sort of 80 yard out in a heavy wind, and this is where we've wanted to be. You know, we really wanted to be on front of this wind, and it's paying off. So you have to sort of change tactics to make it work to your advantage. So don't be trying to flog yourself to death for getting bags out, being inaccurate, putting piles of bait everywhere. You know, I'm fishing as accurate as I can with the wind, and I'm keeping casting, but I've dropped onto singles. And to help me do that, I'm out there fishing over more bait. So I've then decided to drop onto my boilie crumb and my boilie and pellet. So we know that Norton sees a hell of a lot of pellet, and I'm using the crayfish maxi mix. Mini mix in my bags, maxi mix go hand in hand. This gives me a little bit more of a different level of attraction and different breakdown times in the pellet, and they'll stay there quite a bit longer. And then my 15mm boilies in there, just to give it the different incisors as well, and obviously have some bug on the bottom with them. Now what I do with my boilies and pellets is I always pre-soak before I come to a venue, so I at least give them 24 hours, and that is always in the bug liquid food. if I'm fishing bug. S7, fish the S7. So once I've had that soaking, I'll just keep slowly adding the liquid throughout the weekend as I'm fishing, you know, just keep it glazed all of the time. Now hydro heat, I love hydro heat, but I don't put hydro heat in my boilies 24 hours before I come, because what you tend to do, you tend to clump them and stick them together. And hydro heat serves its own purpose, its own heavy food source. It will drop to the bottom. So what I tend to do is, as I'm spomming away, I'll layer the top level. If I know I'm going to put 5 or 6 spoms out, I'll trickle the top with hydro heat. That allows me then to scoop that out, and it's going straight out there. It's pumping the water column with the tractors, but it's not binding everything together. And that's how I like to get the hydro heat out there. A real good advantage in my fishing, and something I've used for years, is being boilie crumb. I know the lads at DNA and many other boilie factories absolutely hate the fact that you roll round baits and then we go and crush them up, but you know, it's just one of those things. Really digestible, adds a different element to your fishing and can really get them going. Now with boilie crumb, I do the same as what I do with my actual boilies and pellets. 24 hours before I come, I'll soak them. Again, it's always in the matching liquid food, and then I will add a little bit of an element of like a K-stim to it. I'll also put a little bit of M-Poil in there. It's something that'll bind in, and it will obviously keep your spot pumping as well, and it'll create those little flat spots so you know fish are on there. Now when I'm fishing crumb, I fish quite a few deep waters, and the thing is with crumb is, if you're fishing anything sort of above that 8-9 foot mark, you start to get a fair drift, or it'll hang in the water column. If fishing on the deck, and like here, you can only fish the one zig, and you're not wanting to create a cloud through the water. So I end up putting my bait, my crumb, back into tight balls. Now these things, sometimes I'll do 2 in the spom, or sometimes I'll do a whole one. And after these have had 24 hours soaked, and then I keep adding a bit of liquid, these will bind. When the spom hits the water, if they do break up, which they generally don't, they'll only break into half and they'll hit the bottom. Another advantage of this is if you are fishing PVA bags, you put loads of these out there, you're mimicking your PVA bag all over your area. So you end up with something that breaks down, the fishing are coming across, and it's not just one thing that looks like a PVA bag, you've got numerous things out there. And again, we've got a big wind on us now. When I first started, I was putting a bit of loose come out, just compacting it in there, but this wind's going to push it off. You know, I'm fishing 10, 12 foot of water, it's going to be pushing it away from your spot, and that's what you don't want. You want the fish on your spot all the time. So having these, getting this bam down, dropping to the bottom, fastest way to get crumb. A lot of people don't like using crumb when they're in deep water. They can't sort of get their heads around how it's going to land. That's the way. What I also do with this to give it that added bit of attraction and weight is I had a little bit of hydro heat on the top of these before I spawn them out. It glazes them, and it also makes them nice and sticky, so they will drop straight down and they can go. So if you are struggling to get your crumb out as well, you might be fishing distance, that's the way to do it. So that's how I run through my bait and stuff and what I've been using on this session. Everything here has been successful, and we're going to crack on and hopefully catch some more. I've gone through half a bucket of each, and I'm sure I'll go through both by the time I've left here. Night's drawn in now, guys, and no more fish after that last one. I think the fish have pushed off a little bit. The wind has obviously been hacking in here. We wanted to be at the front of it. We took full advantage of it when we first got in the swim. But I think the bit of pressure that we've put on them has just pushed them out a little bit further. And they've stopped showing a little bit now. The swims just a bit further up have been sort of catching a few fish. But they're showing a good 200, 250 yard off us. But it's been a great day, you know, we've moved on to fish, made the best of his chances that we've got, and had some crackers today. So we're going to see what tonight brings. The rods have gone out all fresh, some extra bait's gone out there. It's just starting to rain a little bit of a warmer night as well tonight as well, so hopefully it's not going to affect the fish too much, and they will start to move back on. So I'm still confident that these spots are going to work for us. swap tactics a little bit, and I've put a couple of little snowman rigs on tonight to see if we can chance for an extra bigger fish. Yeah, so if we don't see you through the night, we'll definitely see you in the morning. Good morning. What a way to start the day. Another Billy's Lake lump at £27.15 this one, and another cracker. They were well on the bait, and yeah, it'd be time to pack up soon. Very tired, but this is what you come for, and I'll be trying to nick one or two more before I get off. Caught on milky malt again. Yeah, what a cracker. If I don't have another one, what a fish to end the session. I've been using two rigs this session. The PVA bag got me my first bite over on Holden's, and then my first bite over here. But like I say, when the wind picked up, really struggling to get those PVA bags accurate. So I went to one of my combi rigs, something I use all the time, either in a coated braid or with a boom section like this. And as I've already mentioned, it's a barbless rule. I'm not a fan of barbless hooks, so I looked for something with a beak point. So the new Corda claws I've been using are definitely worth a try on this type of water. That beak point just nips in a lot better. And my ever faithful milky malt has been the one that's been doing the business all the way through. So yeah, that's what's going on in my bags as well, the milky malts. And we've got very little time left, couple of hours at the most at the minute. The fish have pushed off and they're sort of moving on to the front of the wind. So I'm going to come a bit short with two bags just to see if I can nick one last bite. So I'm going to, I've reeled these two rods in, and they're both going out on bags with the milky malt and my crayfish pellet mix and my liquid mix. So we'll get those out and see if we can nick one more bite before we leave. Whenever you leave a lake and you're driving up the road, you always start thinking about everything you could have done or could have done better. You know, I've had no more fish after that one this morning, but I've had a great session nonetheless. I mean, we started on Holden's. I chose a peg, we was on fish, you know. I could have sat there the full weekend hoping them fish would have come back, but it just didn't seem like they were doing it. 4:30 in the morning, we decided to have a walk around and we found fish at the other end of the lake. So we jumped straight on them. We had another walk around and we quickly found fish right on the front of the wind. They looked like they were up for a feed, so we made the effort to move yet again. Stood here right now, we should have pushed out a little bit further, maybe started at the 100-yard mark. But I knew that wind was going to come and it was going to come savage, so I fished comfortably, and I still produced bites. So I'm going home a happy man, and having two nice 27-pounders in the bag. That's session complete for me. That's all I come for. So have a good time, catch fish, put the effort in while I'm there, and go home very happy. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you on the next one hopefully.